Hey there, this is Lauren Kimball for ANI 125. In the previous tutorial, I showed you all how to put together this little pivot rig or cutout rig using just drawing layers to sort of create a cutout, kind of stop motion type puppet using just layers and pivot points. Now, this tutorial is going to show you how to use it as a way to clean up a hand-drawn animation. We're not talking about actual advanced rigging animations like what you'd see in like an actual production, something with like a constraint rig where you've got all sorts of complexities. We're talking about something very, very basic. So first, we need to make this available for our other assignment. For the students who are following along, you've all animated a walk cycle as part of your exercise 3, a very, very basic walk cycle that just contains the basic key poses of a walk, the contact down, passing, and up. So we're going to take that very basic walk cycle and we're going to use this rig as a sort of cleanup method. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to collapse this so it's all one asset, and then I'm going to go to my library. I'm going to kind of pull my library over here to the side, collapse my color menu, and there are two menus here by default, the symbols and the Harmony Essentials library. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the Harmony Essentials library, and how I'll do that is I will drag this and drop it over. Now notice we have that little circle with a slash through it. And we know from the times that we tried to use our drawing tools on a bitmap layer that whenever we see that symbol, it means something's not going to work. So if I let go, nothing gets dropped into my library. Why is that? Well, by default, the Toon Boom Essentials library is locked. So I'm going to right-click it and apply a Right to Modify option. When I do that, the little lock icon goes away. And now I can grab this from the timeline and drop it over here. It's going to ask if I want to rename anything. I don't. But now my little rig is inside my library. Now I'm going to go ahead and open. No, I don't need to save anything. I'm going to go ahead and open my walk demo that I did in a previous class. I'm going to go ahead and open this. Alright, so in this walk demo, I did a little sketch. Let's go ahead and just turn the guides off for a second. Got a little sketch of our character, contact down, passing up, contact down, passing up. If we press play and loop it, you can see it's a very fast, cartoony, exaggerated, basic walk cycle. It doesn't have any in-betweens, and it's really booking it, but it's going to get the basic mechanics down. So that's what our goal was with this assignment. So I've got my I didn't do a cleanup layer. I've got my rough animation. I've got the guide here. Sorry for the cough. I'm going to go to my Harmony library and I'm going to drag my body layer into the scene. And boom. Now our rig is inside our rough walk animation file. Now, as I've cautioned in the previous tutorial, make sure that you turn off your yellow guy until you're ready to animate. And then you can take this little rig and kind of position it the way that you would sometimes it's hard for me to talk and think at the same time. So essentially what you're going to want to do is position this rig to similarly match your animation that you roughed out. Now mind you, my character's proportions are a little bit different here, which is kind of a bummer. So we could actually tweak that if we wanted to. For the sake of expediency, I'm not going to, but if I wanted to, I could go into each of these parts, go into drawing mode. We haven't talked a lot about drawing mode. Camera mode shows you how everything is assembled, but drawing mode shows you the asset exactly like it was originally drawn. So if I wanted to take like my upper leg and make it match these proportions here, I could easily go in, use my drawing tools, and I could shrink or grow my image and make it match this. That was pretty slapdash, but you get the idea. If you wanted to, you could take these pieces, shrink them, change them to match the proportions of your character. In this instance, I don't really care that much. Instead, I'm going to, for the sake of expediency, I'm just going to have his little footfalls match, and if they don't quite line up, that's not the end of the world. I just want to use this as a demonstration. So I'm kind of getting him situated. I could bring my guides back so I have a ground plane to work from, since I'm not going to be matching him perfectly to my character. I'm using the transform tool, which makes it super easy to maneuver. As opposed to the rotate tool. Rotate tool is kind of hard to click different assets. Okay, so let's just say this is good enough and I'm ready to start animating. A couple of things that need to be done. First, I need to turn on my yellow guy. That's going to activate my keys. Second, for this class, which is Intro to 2D Animation, we don't do anything with interpolation. We animate using functions and interpolations when we get into advanced animation. For this class, we're trying to keep it as basic and kind of the hand-drawn feel as possible. So our original animation, again, animated on 2s, right? We're going to ask this guy to be animated on 2s without interpolation. For those of you who forgot what interpolation means, that's where Toon Boom goes in and tweens or adds in-betweens between our keys. By default, it wants to do this. To make sure it doesn't, we need to go up to Animation and make sure that this has been turned on. That is stop motion keyframes. When we activate that, it makes sure that we set keys, but it doesn't interpolate anything. So with that turned on, and with my yellow guy turned on, I'm going to click on this first pose, and I'm going to press F6. Now, with our guy fully selected here, it's going to set keys all the way down. So I'm going to collapse it again. I'm going to go forward 2 poses, and let's go ahead and start maneuvering these pieces for the next pose. Now, whenever I move something in Toon Boom, it is going to ultimately, I could do this, but I think I'm just going to let it go this way this time. Whenever I move something in Toon Boom and the yellow guy is turned on, it's going to automatically key. But when I unspool, you'll notice there's no key on the left foot. That's because I never moved it. So something I like to do when I'm approaching animation this way is, even though a lot of this stuff's already keyed, I'm going to press F6. And that's going to apply a key to anything that wasn't keyed by moving. And the reason you might want to have that is because it's going to kind of create an anchor, so that if we do any major changes on the next key, the original pose that we like on this key stays put. So I'm going to go forward 2 frames. Let's go ahead and bring that leg down. Maybe I'll transform it a little. Give it a little drag there in the foot. And then again, if we look, we can see that unspooling it, that we never set a key on the left lower leg, so nothing was changed with that. So we don't have to keep checking it. I just want to explain why I'm pressing F6. So now when I toggle using my greater than less than keys, you can see that the rig is following the animation. And this is kind of a way that we could sort of do some cleanup without having to go in and hand draw each frame. For doing the exercise 3, as far as meeting the requirements of the assignment, you absolutely can go in and clean up your rough animation 1 frame at a time. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to, you can also use this rig from our rig demo, or you could use the process that we followed to make this and kind of come up with your own rig. Maybe you want this guy to look a little different. Maybe you want him to be Pac-Man with boots. I don't know. Just have fun with it. But this is essentially what you're going to do, and you're just going to repeat these steps all the way until both legs have completed the cycle. Because remember, there's going to be a total of 8 drawings, or in this case, 8 poses that make up this walk cycle. So contact, down, passing, up, and then you have to complete those same poses on the second leg. Contact, down, passing, up. All right, and once you've completed that, whether you use the rig or you don't, yeah, that is the assignment. So when you're done, if you do use the rig, you can just turn off your rough animation and export the rig completing the walk. And if you do it the other way, then you could disregard this. This was just to kind of introduce you on how you might use a rig in this instance. All right, well, that is it. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you all again during our next class period when I'm back in town.